Hello there. It is Jamila McMallow, a mindset coach for high performing women executives and entrepreneurs. And today I want to talk a little bit about a situation that I dealt with not too long ago. So, for those of you that don't know, I have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. So, I am deep in the throes of being a toddler mom. And the situation that happened, just um, stay with me. You'll see the connection. But basically, it happened with my son. And for those of you who've raised children, you already know that at a certain point, around 2 years old, it comes a point to where they just your child is like they finally decide, okay, I'm going to stand my ground on whatever it is, right? Up until this point, they're compliant, they're going along with things, and all of a sudden, one day they decide this is the day when I am going to stake my foot in the ground, and I am not going to do what I'm supposed to do. Now, nap time routine: put the toys away, go upstairs, go potty, wash your hands, brush your teeth, wipe your face, get in the bed. That's the routine. It's been that way every single day of her life. And I'm talking about my 2-year-old, right? My 4-year-old, of course, his whole life, from the point to where that became a part of it, after babyhood, and now they've got teeth. This is the routine. So it's not something new. It's not like something was thrown in there that threw her off, whatever. But this was the day that she decided to have a standoff showdown. And so as the adult, right, I had to stand my ground as well, because she had to learn that I am in charge, and that if I say this is how things are going to go, this is what's about to happen. Now I'm all for, acknowledging her feelings. She got hugged, she got nursed through the process, whatever, but I was still firm. You're still going to have to do what's required of you. And I understand you don't like it, but you're still going to do what's required of you. This showdown lasted over probably 45 minutes. It's ridiculous. Finally, she calmed down, and then my son, he's so sweet. He comes in and he puts his arms and he's hugging us, and he's like, "It's okay, sis." And he starts doing like this on her hair and saying, "Calm, nice and calm." And I'm like, where did he get that from? But it just made me think of how when we are going through a transformational experience, and when we are dealing with a strongly entrenched belief that we want to hold on to. And by the belief, I'm not just talking about the belief, I'm also getting into the story. There's a lot of stories that we tell ourselves, okay? There's a lot of stories that we say about, what we're allowed to do, what we're allowed to have, what we're allowed to be. One of the biggest ones, any entrepreneur knows that one of the biggest stories that a potential client will throw in your face is their money story. Oh, well, I don't have the money, or, oh, this is so great, or, oh, I'm broke, or, oh, can you do this or that? No. Do you walk into McDonald's and negotiate the price? Do you walk into Macy's or Neiman Marcus and negotiate the price? And I use McDonald's because even at the cheapest level, you don't go in there and try to negotiate the price. And you don't try to negotiate the price even at the most expensive level. You just say, oh, that's what something is, I'm going to buy it. And so I only bring that up because when we're going through a transformational experience, we can get stuck in our story. And just like my daughter decided to stake her claim in the ground in a way that made no sense, right? This is a normal routine. She's not being asked to do anything new. There's nothing negative happening, other than the only factor that may have played into her is she was tired. It was getting close to nap time. But the point is that me as the adult version, and in this scenario, if we're talking about transformation, the adult version of you is now stepping in and saying, no, I want to change this way of being. But the 2-year-old version of yourself, who is stuck in the story, who's still hanging on to something that makes no sense, that's who you're arguing with. That's who you're fighting with. That's who's telling you don't have any money because that's what mom and dad said all the time, is that, oh, we can't afford it, or we don't have this, or we don't have that, or we live in lack, or this, that, and the other thing. That's who's telling you that. That's who's telling you that there's no good men because you grew up seeing your father philandering around, or maybe he wasn't around, or he was emotionally unavailable, or whatever. It's the two-year-old version of you staking her claim in the ground, telling you, no, I'm not going to do what you want me to do. And you, as the adult version of you, 9 times out of 10, or sometimes 10 times out of 10, are going, okay, well, we'll just, because we want you to just calm down and stop crying. So we'll just do what you want to do. And the results of that are reflected in your life. If your relationships are not where you want them to be, and I'm going to speak specifically into, obviously, relationships with men, because that's a big part of what I do, whether it's you want to be married to a good man or you are married to a good man, all roads lead back to you and the little girl version of you, okay? Who is literally throwing a tantrum because she wants to hang on to these stories that simply are not true. You're not going to get what you want by rolling around on the floor and not putting your toys away or doing the things. You're not going to get what you want by not doing what you're supposed to do. Okay, that's really the story she's telling herself. And so conversely, you're not going to get what you want by not doing what you're supposed to do, by not being willing to give up these stories, these beliefs, these things that are holding you back. It's like, ew, why do you want it? Why do you want it? As women, when we get to be like in our mid-30s, we start pushing into our 40s, we start going through kind of what's called like I wouldn't say a midlife crisis, but kind of like an awakening, to where we start to realize that, man, my life maybe isn't exactly the way I want it to be, but it's not what's outside of me, it's what's going on within me. And so that's where the work has to start. That's where the focus has to be, is inside. And typically, like I said, it's that little girl version of you throwing a tantrum, throwing with the stories and all these things and the beliefs and the trauma and the pain and the hurt and all those things that are keeping her stuck right where she is. And so I only share this to say, because, like I said, this is a real life example that I literally just dealt with. And for me, you're having this standoff with this person, this little person that you love so much, that you only are trying to do what's best for. And you feel totally emotional. I'm just drained afterwards. And so transformation takes effort. It can be draining to challenge the 2-year-old version of you. It can be draining to challenge the beliefs and the stories that you no longer want to have. Transformation is simple, but it's not easy. And that's why most times we shy away from it. Because no matter whether we want to make more money, whether we want to be married to a good man, whether we want to feel more fulfilled with the one that we're with, whether we want to shift our mindset about whatever, at the end of the day, we have to be willing to put in the effort. We have to be willing to put in the time. And sometimes we've convinced ourselves that it's easier to stay the same. But that has a cost too, right? That's not free either. So, like I said, having a showdown with a 2-year-old is not fun, because, they don't understand things from an adult perspective. But just know that that's the same showdown that's going on within you. But you have the strength, the capacity, and the ability to overcome or to stand your ground in that showdown with the right guidance and expert help. Absolutely, you can do it. And when you do it, that little 2-year-old version of you, like my daughter, eventually she calmed down and she complied and got with the program and went to sleep. So the same thing is true. As you decide you want to start transforming things about your life, you're going to hit some areas that are going to be challenging, some areas that are going to be painful. Don't go around it and say, I'm good, or, oh, okay, I'll just, DIY this through a journal, or I'll watch a YouTube video, and I'll just focus on, the non-emotional parts of my business or the non-emotional parts of my life. Even though the truth is, it's all emotional, because as women, our emotions are our superpower. That's what I say. And what we feel, we create. And so if the little girl version inside of us is full of a lot of stories that are negative, if she's full of a lot of sadness from trauma or pain, that's how you feel deep down. And you will see that reflected in some of the choices and decisions and outcomes that you've experienced in your life. And so I don't want you to have to spend 45 minutes literally standing there, you know, comforting, and then, okay, but we're still going to do what we need to do. I don't want you to have to do that. You've already done that. You know, in this age bracket, most of, my colleagues and friends, their kids are a lot older, but that's fine, whatever. I'm happy where I'm at, and I love my little kids. But embrace the transformation and just know that you're going to have to stand your ground. Just know that the little version of you isn't going to be happy about the changes that are coming, but you cannot allow her stories and her beliefs to keep you stuck where you are. You cannot allow her conditioning that women are supposed to figure it all out on their own, that women have to overgive and keep doing and doing and giving and never taking anything back for themselves, that investing in her emotional well-being has no value. If it's not covered by insurance, well, no. I'm worth thousands of dollars. Well, actually, no, I'm priceless. Okay, let me correct myself. I'm priceless. But when it comes to investing in myself, I'm not looking for no freebie cheap option. I have continued to elevate the amount of money that I invest into myself and the quality of the mentors and coaches that I work with, because that's where I'm going. That's where I want to be. That's where I want to go. They have something that I haven't figured out yet, and I want to learn that. And so understanding, excuse me, that it's going to require time and effort, understanding that it's going to require an investment of real cash money if you want to work with somebody who's about something. And that's not to say that everybody who charges a lot of money is automatically a great coach. No, I know, in fact, a lot of people have been burned. But I'm just trying to help you to understand that this story around affordability, this story around not feeling worthy, this story around, when my next ship comes in, when my tax refund comes, all of that nonsense, that's the 2-year-old version of you or the little girl version of you running that program, running that conditioning, running that messaging that she picked up as a little girl living in lack and scarcity. And so you, as the adult version of yourself, stand your ground. Do not give in to her tantrum. And don't fall for the okie doke, even if it's in your own head. Because she can be calmed down. She can be taught some new things. And you can absolutely transform your life into something that you don't even recognize. And so that's all I have for you today. I hope that you got some value out of this. You are welcome to share your thoughts with me in the comments, or if you'd like to share them privately, you're always welcome to message me. And I just want to thank you for hopping on. And by the way, I want to let you know that if you are a high-performing woman who is divorced, who has that financial success, but it's like you're struggling to find a man that you feel like is on your level, I actually have a 90-day program that I'm doing right now that helps you to really break all that down so that you can start to attract men who you consider to be on your level. So if you're interested in that, I would encourage you to also message me as well. So anyway, that's all I've got for you. Thank you for hopping on, and I look forward to seeing you next time.